Yeah, g'day, my name's John, and I'm just here to talk to you a little bit about Care Outreach. I started with Care Outreach probably, I think 7 years ago. We got refired, I suppose. We got called a while ago, like many years ago, 25 years ago, my wife and myself, to reach the average Aussie. And ever since I've been born again, my heart's been for particularly men, and the domain that the men hang out in, the pubs and like out here on properties and things like that, where very few people sort of seem to come and reach them. So I just felt that God put on my heart to get into their lives and give them the opportunity that I had 33 years ago, to give my heart to the Lord. And Care Outreach here, this trailer here belongs to Care Outreach, and Linda and I have been working with Care Outreach for 7 years now, and our area is quite a large area out in the rural west of Australia, out in the outback, and we're just out here to do what God's put on our heart to do, and that's to reach the average Aussie, the everyday bloke, just to get into their lives, become friends with them, to work with them, and just get to know them, and then just allow it just naturally to flow why we're working with them. And most people say, well, what are you blokes really all about? And we can get into their lives and say, well, this is what the Lord's done in my life, and I'd like you to have that opportunity too. So anyway, my story, I suppose, is I get out on properties, and I give the blokes a bit of a hand. We might rock up there and someone might need something done, and I'll give them a hand. I've been out on the properties and done branding and riding motorbikes and chasing cattle, and all the stuff that I think a city bloke would think was fun. And to me it is fun, because I'm fulfilling something that God's put on my heart. Like when God calls you, he calls you into something that fits you. I think for many years I've had a call of God on my life without even knowing it, because I had a desire in my heart for a long time to be in the bush, on properties, and there's even been times when I was a young fella, that I'd think to myself, gee, it would have been nice if we had a property, or nice to have lived on a farm or something like that. So I've always had that within me, and coming out to work for the Lord and help people and get into their lives, I think was just like a fulfillment of all those dreams and desires I had as a young fella. And I'm out here, and like we're at Easter camp at the moment, and we've done the catering here, and it's just a pleasure to be able to serve the pastors of the local church. We can serve them as Care Outreach. The whole vision goes right through to, it's not just the people outside, but it's the local pastors and that need a hand. And if I can take a load off a pastor, well, that's what I'll do. And doing the catering for the camp takes the load off them, so that they can get into the role that they're supposed to be in. They don't need to be doing the mundane stuff. That's my call, not theirs. And I just get in there and give it my best, and we get a lot of blokes to come in and want to help you, and so we don't do it on our own. We've never done it on our own out here, really. There's always somebody that'll put their hand up and give you a hand, and it's the same on properties. You get out there, and we don't want to see that the people on the properties do it on their own either. So we say to the volunteers, whether you say a little bit, whether you say a lot, whether you say nothing, show the love of God, and a lot of times we say, and only speak if necessary, and if we can get through to people like that, and we do, we get into people's lives, and then things start to change in people. They start to realise that they do need a bit of help. They open up. The man on the land won't readily say, give me a hand. You say, can you give you a hand? No, I'm all right. I'll get it done. They battle it out. They tough it out. But really, you know, if you can persist and just say, look, I'm here, I can do something, you know, and they give you a go, well, then they realise that it was so much easier, you know, to be there. And most people say, well, when are you coming back? Or when you're coming through this way, always call in for a cup of tea, you know. Condamine was a place where they had the floods. It's only a little place. It's just got a pub. It's got a service station. It's got a rural supplies place, and it's got an earth moving place. And that's about the extent of the industry there. But during January of this year, they had a massive flood, and not only once but twice. They got through the first flood, just got their places ready, and a week later the second flood came through, and it just well, the first flood was bad enough. That was the biggest one. The second one was enough to just make it so really devastating, because the things that they thought they'd saved, they lost in the next one. So most people lost just about everything. We were on the coast, on the Sunshine Coast, when that all happened, and when we were able to, we came out with care outreach again, and there was a set of team leaders there that was their particular area, but for certain reasons, family reasons, that they had to leave, and Linda and I stayed there. They left after 2 weeks, and we stayed on to help them out, you know, because it was people that they visit, and we ended up staying there for a bit over 2 months, and in that 2 months we got into people's lives. We had gatherings around the campfire, or not a campfire, but gatherings around the barbecue in the caravan park and things like that, and able to share stories with them, you know, of what God has done and what He can do for them, you know. And you could see the hardness, you could see the grief, you could see the bitterness, because all these things that come out when you've been through a devastating things like that, you could see them just sort of start to fade away, and you know, you would get people warming to you and wanting to know more, and you know, we're able to get into people's lives and sow a lot of seeds, and you know, it was just really, to us, it was a real blessing and a real pleasure to be able to work with these people, you know. And it got to the stage where we had care outreach volunteers actually from Condamine, you know, because they were saying, can we be a part of it? Can we do this? And can we do that? So they were helping each other. One lady by the name of Sue actually started a little op shop, but it was all free stuff. But we cleaned her place thoroughly and got it all looking nice, and cleaned a big shed out, and gurneyed all the walls, disinfected everything, gurneyed the shelves, and then we just loaded it up with goods. And she started the op shop for the town, you know. So that was her contribution. So people would come down there any time, day and night, and say, look, I need this, have you got it? I need that, have you got it? You know, even drinking water, she was the depot for the drinking water, you know, because people needed drinking water. Even though they're right on the river, the water was all contaminated, you know. So so she got stuck in, and other people started helping people clear their yards and things like that, and it just became a real little community project, you know, where people were just sort of going around and doing what they could for each other. And it just sort of, it was good to see what God was doing. One story in particular, we'd left the town. We've got some ongoing projects there that we've got to go back to. We've got to go back and actually finish some houses that they were completely, or just about completely submerged by the flood, and the council are making them actually raise them above the flood water levels, or they won't be allowed to go back into their homes again. So the people are getting them done, they're getting them lifted up, but we're going to go back in and we're going to completely clean the houses out again. We're going to treat all the walls and the ceilings, and we're going to paint the whole interiors of them and get them so they're really nice inside. And if we can get the supplies and the donations, we'll probably do the outside too, and the workers, of course. You know, we're always looking for volunteers to come out and give us a hand somewhere.